a fun Milwaukee Bucks team. They, again, held off the Orlando Magic in their home game in the quarterfinals, Giannis has been playing at an extremely high level, and if it weren't for Nikola Jokic, who we'll talk about a little bit later, he would probably be talking about MVP stuff. The Bucks' record still isn't pretty yet, but like we mentioned earlier in the year, all it takes is a couple good stretches to be back in the right side of things in the Eastern Conference. That's exactly where the Bucks are. Chris Middleton is back. We talked about that a little bit last week as well. So what can you say? I mean, I don't know if there's much to say about what the Bucks have shown you, what they're doing right now. I just think that things look a little more cohesive. And I got to give a shout out since we're talking NBA Cup. Last year, Darvin Ham didn't lose a game in the NBA Cup. Now he's the associate head coach for the Bucks. He still has never lost an NBA Cup game. Maybe that's the key right there.
Yeah, that's the answer. You want to win the NBA Cup, you hire Darvin Ham. I think that's what everybody, that's the conclusion we're getting.
I know you're thinking it at home.
Yeah, that's what everyone that's listening to the pod right now is thinking. They're like, yeah, they got Giannis. He's pretty good. But like, they also have Darvin Ham on the bench, and he's not the head coach, but he's still on the bench.
He's there.
Yeah, the Bucks, I mean, that's a team that like, you know, they like as a team, yeah, they're playing pretty good basketball right now. Like they feel like they're kind of turning a corner after a slow start. But at the same time, like Dame and Giannis, that's the duo that averages the most points per game in the NBA right now. They're like, I think it's like 53 points per game or somewhere around there. But, you know, Giannis has taken his game to another level on both ends of the floor, and he's still one of the best players in the world. So when he's playing at his best, like that's a team that, you know, their ceiling is as far as winning the NBA championship, like we saw from them 3-4 years ago at this point. So, you know, I'm very curious to see, again, like that's not a super deep team. So I'm curious to see if the Hawks can kind of get them a little uncomfortable playing at a faster pace. You know, it feels like every single guard that plays against the Bucks, because even though Dame is great offensively, not very great defensively, it feels like every single guard that plays against the Bucks has massive scoring nights. So like we saw it with Jalen Suggs in the first round of the NBA Cup. Like, you know, we know Trae Young is more than capable of lighting it up as well. So, you know, I'm kind of curious to see how they plan on containing him. But, you know, Milwaukee is like, this is a team that last week we talked about how the NBA Cup is important for teams like Atlanta, teams like Houston, teams that don't really have a chance to like prove themselves otherwise throughout like the day-to-day regular season to show like, all right, hey, we're here, we're serious, take us seriously, like put us on the map, like we're a team that's worth following. Where like for a team like the Bucks, kind of similar to the Lakers last year, like the NBA Cup, in my opinion, feels like it could be a little bit more validating. Like it's like, all right, hey, we are still a team that is capable of winning when you need to win one game, you need to win another game, and then you got to win one more, like back against the wall. Like, can you get it done? Like, you know, there's valuable, I think there's value in the NBA Cup in terms of the way that it can affect like the demeanor of a locker room. Now, obviously, like, you know, we're not on these teams. I don't actually know, do the players care that much? Like, you know, I think they do once it gets to the point where they're in Vegas and they're that much closer to the money. Exactly. Yeah. I saw Bobby Portis say if he gets that $500,000, it's not touching his bank account. He's spending it. But
I appreciate that.
yeah, right. Exactly. But then I saw someone say today that Kenrich Williams was like, he probably like invested in real estate or something. I'm like, hey, all right. So you got two people that are willing to, duality of a man. Exactly. But, you know, I do think that like there is some value in winning these must-win games, win or go home games. And, you know, I mean, I would think that for a team like the Bucks, that could give you the confidence that you need to believe, all right, yeah, we can go on a run. We can win, you know, must-win playoff games, and we have what it takes to be the team that won the championship 4 years ago.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think that's the interesting thing like that. Like, you know, say what you want about it, say that the cup is boring or that like you think it's forced or whatever. But like, I do think, like you said, it is like kind of something tangible to get this team in a faster gear, allow you to be like, okay, this is a little bit higher intensity. Are we capable of winning playoff-like games? Because that win over Orlando felt like a playoff game. Dame hits a step back to tie things up. You know, they figure it out and they get a clutch win at high-stakes situation. And now they're kind of in the same position that they were in last year, right? Like you mentioned, Indiana last year, Atlanta this year. Literally the exact same situation. Young point guard coming in, this young team around them that plays fast, whatever. The Bucks are going to get tested. And they ended up seeing each other in the playoffs, and the Bucks couldn't get past it. I know injuries had a big hand in that, but still, maybe we're seeing some deja vu all over again in the Eastern Conference as far as the NBA Cup goes. So there's some value in that as far as previewing what we'll see and what's to come.